talk of, Surikant Wide. Thank you. So this is like preaching to the choir. Most of you know this, but we tend to forget the posture for meditation. The nice thing about, okay, so you have basically seated postures, lotus posture, Padmasana, which is the one that is recommended by a lot of Hindu textbooks, and it maybe Buddhists actually have a slightly different one. I don't know about you, but I can't even sit cross-legged, forget about Padmasana. Then there is Japanese, or the Zen Buddhists will sit on their on their haunches. You can sit on a chair, especially if you have any back problems or cannot sit on the floor. And then for mindfulness meditation, you can even practice lying down. You can practice meditation in any posture. The one caveat, if you do practice meditation lying down, very likely what's going to happen is you're going to fall asleep. Because that's, that's our associated body-mind thinking. So to prevent from falling asleep, you can lie down and put your hands up. If you're lying down, you're raising your hands so that every time you're falling asleep, you're going to, the hands will drop. I was talking about this to Swamiji, and he said, oh, that's such a clever idea. And he gave me a better idea. He said, put your hands in front of your face so that anytime you sleep, you're going to hit yourself. So you can, the idea really of the posture is to keep a straight back. So you can see in the picture, this person has used a cushion. So really the head, the neck, and the trunk of the body are perpendicular to your base of your body. And this posture is important only because that helps you stay alert. You're less likely to fall off to sleep as opposed to the second posture. And today we are going to take up a practice on using the breath as our focus, as our object of attention. Any of you not breathing here right now? So obviously, we have the breath with us 24/7. And it is such a useful tool, such a useful anchor. That's what I like to call it, an anchor to bring yourself to the moment, no matter where you are. If you are breathing, if you're standing in line at a grocery store and this happens to me a lot. You go to the grocery store and obviously the checkout counter you stand in ends up being the longest, even though there was nobody else, like one person in front of it. So you look at your reactions. How do you feel? You get a little, oh, can they do it faster? What are they taking so long? Drop into your breath. You can use your breath at that time to bring your attention back to. That way, all that negativity, the frustration, the anger, whatever your mind is thinking that is making you anxious, you pull it back from that. You pull it away from that. So using the breath is really a very foundational practice in mindfulness, pretty much in any meditation. And I know we've used, most of you who come here know about pranayama. This is not going to be pranayama. We are not controlling our breathing. We're just going to learn how to watch our breath. So saying that, and it's so simple, as the slide shows. You breathe in, you pay attention, you breathe out. Again, you breathe in, pay attention, breathe out. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to know how to breathe. It's something that we all know. The only time we think about our breathing is when we have some breathing difficulty. If you have a cold or if you have some lung infection, COPD, then you're struggling with your breath. So let's get ready for our practice. And the lights can be on. We're not going to turn the lights off. So pick a posture. Sit in a posture that keeps your head, neck, and back straight. If you're sitting on the floor chairs, I would suggest your feet across. I would suggest just tuck your tailbone at the back of the chair so that you're not leaning on the chair like that. You're sitting up front. And if you're sitting on the regular chairs, if your feet are not flat on the floor, I would suggest just come up in the chair so that your feet are flat on the floor. That helps you keep the posture straight. And at home, whatever chair, I brought a cushion for this chair because if I sit back, my posture isn't right for meditation. So we'll practice for about 10-15 minutes. I'll guide you through a meditation session, and then we'll take a break after that. Okay. So hands you can keep many times, that was the other thing, many times people feel because they've seen pictures of yogis sitting in deep samadhi or deep meditation that they're always sitting like that. This posture really it's a nice posture because it's a very delicate posture. And the reason I'm saying it's delicate is because you can imagine you're holding a lotus in your hand. And you don't want to do this and crush the lotus, so you're very aware. But if this doesn't work for you, you can keep your hands on your lap, facing facing down, facing up, or just gently clasp your fingers together, whatever posture works for you. So right now, let's pick a posture that you're going to be able to hold for at least 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. And then the eyes, usually we say close your eyes. The reason being when your eyes are open, there are more distractions, they can get more distracted. If you are uncomfortable to close your eyes completely, you can just lower your gaze so that you're looking like 3 or 2 feet in front of you, whatever feels comfortable. And let's start by becoming aware of the fact that we are seated here in a posture that is erect, yet comfortable, but also feels relaxed. And gently closing our eyes or lowering our gaze so that we are directing our attention inward, away from the world, away from all the distractions around us. With the intention, the sankalpa or the intention, that just for the next 15-20 minutes, we are going to give our undivided attention to this practice of meditation. We are building our skills to pay attention, to be focused. And noticing if there's any discomfort in your body, you can just adjust your position, your posture, to feel comfortable so that you can hold it. The posture is not the end all, it's just a means to help you feel less distracted, to make the body less of a distraction when you meditate, when you sit to meditate. As we sit here, we can just drop into our body. Notice if there's any tightness that we are holding in any part of the body. Perhaps your eyes are closed really tight, that it's causing your forehead to be frowning. Just let go, relax that. Maybe you're clenching your jaws. Let go of the tension in your mouth and relax the mouth and jaws. Maybe you have some tightness in your neck and shoulders. Just becoming aware of it and letting go. Or your posture is causing some difficulty to your back. Adjusting your posture so that you are completely comfortable, yet very alert. And notice if there's any tightness in any part of the body, your hands, your arms, your legs, your feet. Just notice the tightness and let it go. One way to release any tension in any muscles that we might hold while we sit down for meditation is to clench that muscle really tight and then to relax it. So for example, if you have some tightness in your calf muscles, you can just clench it tight and then relax it. Or if you have tightness in your toes, just clench your toes tight and then relax them, spread them out. And now we come to our breathing. Just notice how you're breathing. We are not controlling our breath in any way. This is not pranayama. We are not breathing deeply. Whatever way you're breathing is just fine. Just turn your attention towards your breath. As the air enters through your nostrils into your body, and notice how it exits your body. Without changing the pattern of your breathing, without breathing deeply or pausing or doing any form of pranayama, breath control, we just observe the breath, kind of becoming one with the breath. So the breath is our anchor for this meditation. And what that means is, anytime the mind wanders away from paying attention or feeling our breath, we just bring it back very gently. So what we are going to try and feel, what we want to feel, we don't want to be thinking about our breath. We don't want to think about how the air goes in and comes out. We want to see how the air that enters the body, what are the physical sensations of that air that happen in our body? How does that air coming into our body feel? And for this, there are many ways to bring our awareness to the breath. You can begin perhaps by feeling the sensations of the air entering the body at the nostrils. Perhaps you can feel the cool air of the room coming in through one or both nostrils. Are they coming in equally through both the nostrils? Perhaps you can feel the tiny hairs inside the nostril move very gently with each in-breath and out-breath. How does the air we breathe in and breathe out feel at the nostrils? For those of you who might be sporting a beard or a mustache, you might be able to feel the air on your upper lip even more acutely. If the nostril, feeling the sensations at the nostrils is not very strong for you, there are other portions in the body that we can feel this breath. Perhaps it's the back of your throat. As you inhale and exhale, without changing the pattern of your breath, just observe. Perhaps the throat feels a little dry. When you inhale, the back of the throat might feel a little moist. As you exhale, and if the sensations at the back of the throat are not very strong, you can perhaps feel the air, see what happens to your chest and shoulders as you inhale. This is perhaps a more vivid part of the body that you can feel the sensations more. So as we inhale, we can feel our shoulders and chest rise. And then as we exhale, they fall back towards the spine. Again, without changing the pattern of breathing. Just observe. Notice how the shoulders and the chest rises as the lungs expand with each in-breath, and how they fall back as we breathe out. And for still others, the sensation might be most vivid in your abdomen. And it might help to place your hand on your abdomen if you choose to, so that you can feel your stomach and abdomen rise with each in-breath and fall back with each out-breath. You're feeling the physical sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale, the physical sensations at your belly, at your abdomen, as the diaphragm expands, pulls in, and pulls out. And it's very likely that while we are trying to pay attention to our breath, to the anchor for this meditation, your mind might have wandered off. And the instructions I was giving might be lost. And that's okay. When you notice your mind has wandered off away from feeling the physical sensations of the breath, you just gently bring it back to the breath. without any judgment, without any self-talk, without any criticism. The nature of the mind is to wander. We are developing the practice to help us bring the mind back to the object of our meditation, of this meditation, which is feeling the sensations of the air as we breathe in and breathe out. And every single time the mind wanders is an act of mindfulness in itself. We are bringing it back to the anchor. So for this next few minutes, I invite you to pick one part of your body among the four we discussed, the part of the body that you feel your breath most vividly for the remainder to a few minutes of the meditation, and just use that part of the body as your anchor. And if anyone feels the breath more intensely in any other part of the body, you're welcome to choose that for the next few minutes. So pick one part of your body where you feel your breath most vividly, where you feel the sensations of the air coming into the body and leaving the body most vividly, and make that your anchor just for the next few minutes. And if you notice your mind, when you notice your mind wanders off or has wandered off, just very practically, very matter of fact, without judgment, bring it to your object, to the physical sensations in the body, physical sensations of the breath in the body part you have chosen. Notice any distraction that might be pulling you away, pulling your awareness away from the breath, and just gently bring it back. And we'll continue to do this for the next minute or two before we come to the end of the meditation. So as we come to the end of this meditation, in the next 30 seconds or so, I invite you to open your eyes, stretch out if you need to. So how did that feel? So usually mindfulness practices, we have a little discussion time, mainly to help when we discuss what our experience was like. It sometimes helps us understand the experience better. And many times when somebody else is talking about their experience, you can relate to that. So at this time, I open up the hall, I guess, for any comments, any specific thoughts on what your experience was like. Yes?
One thing that you said, when relaxing various parts of the body, you tighten it and then relax it, that helped a lot.
Yes. So when you tighten certain muscles of the body, that is actually one of the ways. There is a practice, I forget the name of it. There is a practice in for anxiety and reducing anxiety, that they deliberately go through each part of the body, tightening and releasing. So that, I'm sorry? Yeah, Yoga Nidra, but I'm thinking of a psychological term used, but I can't come. So yes, that does help to deliberately let go. Many times when somebody tells you relax your body, I don't know what to do many times. But I think it's good because if you can at least sense that some part of your body is tight, then you have a tool to relax it. Yeah. Anybody have any other want to share? Yes.
Yes, I would like to say that meditation we've been doing all the time, but these slides were so entertaining and useful at the same time. I love it.
Thank you for your comments. So she found the slides entertaining and useful and loved them. Yes? Copies of the slides. We might, if the recording has come good, we'll probably post the link to the talk, hoping the recording pressure is on our very able volunteer. It's on camera. He doesn't take responsibility for it. Good. Ownership of it. Good. Yeah, if the recording has come good, we'll be posting it probably on Swamiji's channel. Yeah. Yes.
I have a lot of tightness on my right neck, and when you ask to focus on that, it really feels so much better now.
Okay, so tightness on the neck, back and neck is, for most of us who are sitting at our jobs a lot, that's a very common area. Focusing on that tightness helped to release the tightness, which is great. There is, we've done in the past when we've had meditation classes, meditation on pain and on tightness, and there are different techniques we can use to really observe the pain or observe the tightness. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
The position of Shavasana, right? Shavasana is really relaxation.
Yes.
And those who get dependent on drugs or falling asleep, they may find that
So the lying down position, the Shavasana, which is the corpse position in yogic terms, is excellent for falling asleep. If your goal for the meditation is to fall asleep, great. But if your goal is to be attentive, then that might be counterproductive. But you really, you can meditate standing up. Like I said, you're standing at the grocery line. You can be doing a meditation and nobody needs to know. You can be doing a meditation anywhere and nobody will be the wiser of it. Okay, any other question?
One more?
Sure.
So the three activities, attention, intention, and self-thought. I get attention, I get self-thought. Can you elaborate more on intention?
So the elaboration, what is the intention? Intention is the sankalpa we make. We take that, a statement of intent at the beginning of the meditation that, like when Swamiji does at the beginning of every meditation, takes the next 20 minutes, I'm not going to be, my life could be falling apart, but I'm going to be focusing on that. So there are techniques where you can use that intention as an anchor to come back to the meditation as well.
Even though you reminded that breathe normally, because the focus was on that, so I tend to breathe a little deeper without even trying. So that's
So many people who practice yoga and do pranayama automatically tend to breathe deeper. And that's what the question was. And it's fine. It's just you become aware of how you're breathing. Are you breathing deeply or are you breathing shallow? Are you deliberately controlling your breath or are you just observing whatever the pattern is at that time? So these are just tools we build on, practices. Okay, any other questions? So some closing remarks. Opportunities for mindful meditation throughout the day. You can be brushing your teeth. How many of us think about brushing teeth as meditation? We have one person, two people who practice probably mindfulness or who know about mindfulness. 3, very good. So usually, at least my habit, and I think many of you, when you're brushing your teeth, I'm already planning out my day. What do I have to get done? What do I have to do? Where do I have to go? If we were paying attention to brushing the teeth more mindfully, I'm sure you'll have fewer dentist visits because you're really taking care. You are paying attention. So I started this practice several years back when I got introduced to mindfulness, is really how many ever teeth you have, spend that much time with the brush on every single tooth. I'm sure your dentist will notice it. Driving in the car. Usually when you're driving in the car, there's a lot of stress because of the traffic. Or you are on the phone and having a work meeting or a heated argument, maybe not on the phone with your co-passenger. And what happens? You tend to drive faster. You tend to drive more aggressively. You can take a minute. Don't close your eyes while you're driving. You can do an open-eyed meditation. And what I've done, I like, and this is something you might like, especially when the weather starts warming up, at traffic lights. If you notice at traffic lights, and this is, I just love this, many times on the poles, there are like whole family of birds sitting there. And all you have to do is take a moment to enjoy that, to see the birds, rather than getting stressed out, waiting when is this light going to change. You can just take a mindful moment. Doing the dishes or laundry, not everybody's favorite chore. Mindfully, anything, cutting vegetables. Most of us are in a rush, we want to finish, finish, finish. You can do this mindfully. Sitting with kids, relaxing with kids. And then even when you're exercising, when you're doing yoga or any form of exercise, walking, it can be done very mindfully. And that gives an you're bringing an intentional deliberateness to the practice. And this is how we're training our brain, our neurons, to focus on one activity at a time. And the key to meditation is practice, practice, practice. So this woman is saying, I realize I've only been meditating for 5 minutes, but meditation isn't bringing me the peace of mind I was promised. 5 minutes isn't going to cut it. Once a week coming here for class isn't going to cut it. To really make pattern changes, to make behavior changes, it takes, the science shows it takes about 3 to 6 months for somebody to quit smoking or to make any behavior change. For our neurons to change, it's going to take much longer. And this is very good. The mindful monk says, I've never met anyone so thoughtless in my life. Keep up the good work. And I'd like to leave you with this quote from Dalai Lama attributed. It says, there are only 2 days in the year that nothing can be done. One is called yesterday, and the other is called tomorrow. Today is the right day to love, to believe, do, and mostly live. So this brings us to not dwelling in the past or worrying about the future. And that is the end of the presentation. If there are any questions, comments, concerns, even complaints, I'm not going to be judging you, so it's perfectly fine. Yes, Malavika.
Do you anticipate having more mindfulness workshops?
Do I anticipate having more mindfulness workshops? So one of the reasons I was doing this, as you know, Swamiji sometimes ends up having to cancel class last minute, and it may not be enough time for sending an email. And the reason for this foundational workshop, so that everybody's kind of on the same page, and perhaps I'll be covering on a day that he's not available to teach. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, so we have a couple of announcements to make for tomorrow's class. There is Swamiji's Vedanta class. The Upadesha Sahasri continues, followed by the live satsang. And then I know some of you may not like to ask questions in public, so I'll wait outside I'll sit for a few minutes if anybody has any particular question and you want to come up and ask it. And we will end with our closing prayers. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all for coming.